Mountain below. Keep careful watch of my brother's songs. And should the sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over Jordan's sons. If this is to end in fire, then we should all burn together. Watch the flames climb high into the night, calling out, Father, stand by and we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. We should die tonight, then we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time, calling out, Father, prepare as we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollowing stones. I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me. Oh, should my people fall, then surely I'll do the same. Confined in mountain halls, we got too close to the flame. Calling out, Father, hold fast and we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollowing stones. I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me. And if the night is burning, I will cover my eyes. For if the dark returns, then my brothers will die. And as the sky is falling down and crashed into this lonely town, and with that shadow upon the ground, I hear my people screaming out. I see fire inside the mountains. I see fire burning the trees. I see fire hollowing stones. I see fire, blood in the breeze. And I see fire. Oh, you know I saw a city burning out. And I see fire, feel the heat upon my skin, yeah. And I see fire, and I see fire burn on the mountainside.
How is everyone doing tonight? It's great to be here. Who's ready to take back our country? Have we been pushed far enough? Have we drawn our line? Yes, we have. Have we found our tribe? Do we see the people sitting beside us over and over again? These are our people. This is who we have to work with to take back our country. And I so appreciate Donald Lee and his work, because I do see that as foundational and something that I had thought about writing about as well. So I see that as we go through this work, there is a collective vision moving forward and a collective knowledge that we need in order to achieve our goals. So Donald talks a lot about gathering strategies, community building, defensive strategies, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and so on. And as he said, I'm going to introduce some tactical strategies now that we're together and we're organized. We can always organize better because we're up against a very organized network. So organization and administration is very important, isn't it? So who here has heard of KICLEI? We have a few people that haven't. Okay, I like to know that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to talk to you today about an initiative that really started itself. KICLEI is not my initiative. KICLEI is an initiative of its own that has a spirit of its own, and the knowledge for taking back our country from global lobbyist institutions and organizations is coming together through our network. And as we work together, we are learning that we can push back on global and international programs that are being implemented at the local level. So I'm going to see if my clicker works. Wow. So this time last year, me and my friends were in Peterborough outside our city hall doing a rally on a Saturday, because that's what we do, right? We bring our flags, we go downtown, we meet up, we share our stories, we meet some new people, and we plan what we want to do in our communities. And we're right across from City Hall, and I had this thought, you know, we're pretty good at bringing a crowd together. We show up, don't we, when we need to. And why don't we start showing up at our local council? Because it seems like they're passing a whole bunch of things that we disagree with. So let's learn how to engage our local councils. So I looked at their agenda, me and a couple of friends, and and I focused in on the environmental committee reports that they were about to pass. And I noticed that they were going for net zero, and they were looking at all of our energy consumption and our waste data and actually talking about reducing that to zero by 2050. And they had terms in there like targeting our mobility and how the COVID-19 pandemic modified our travel patterns. And they were so happy about this. So I thought, okay, here's what I'm going to go speak to. And I learned how to get on their agenda and how to do a 5-minute delegation and bring forward my concerns about their committee report. So that's what I did. That was the first delegation that went off in Peterborough, 5-minute delegation that was recorded and went all across Canada and across the freedom movement. And it woke all of us up. Essentially what I stated is information I'm going to share tonight, but the key points are that Agenda 21 is a global agenda that's being implemented at the local level. And we can stand up and say something about it. And we've learned a lot since that time. And what I said was so groundbreaking and hadn't really been said in that way before that it got the Prime Minister's attention. He flew into Peterborough and he met with our mayor and our CAO and our local mainstream media reporter and had a little talk with them in a park. So we knew we were onto something. At the same time that this was happening, the farmers and the property owners in Peterborough County reached out. A couple of the ladies were very concerned with the fact that they were about to pass an official plan. That's your 25-year plan for your municipality. There's strategic plans that are more short-term, 4 or 5 years, and then your official plans are really important. And we decided we would go in and we would do a delegation in their small rural township of Duro-Dummer. So I'll go to that. Very good. There we go. I'm sorry that the pictures are blurry, but that's okay. This is their council there. And so I went in there and I did a 10-minute delegation and pointed out that the official plan was, again, a UN-driven plan that was focusing on, quote unquote, sustainable development. And there was a few problems with this plan, which I feel are pretty much across the country. When we look at our strategic plans, our official plans for the rural communities are driving all future population growth away from the rural townships and into the cities, or what they call settlement areas. And they're changing the provincial mapping and making it so that all the rural properties are designated under certain environmental designations, and making it so that the property owners can't fully utilize their land. They can't sever their land and give pieces to their family. They can't use their land in the traditional way that it was used, and in a way that would lead to holistic growth in their rural communities. So it seems like they're driving us off the land. And this official plan was done with almost no public consultation. They put a link online at the beginning of farming season, and the city clerk did it in consultation with an organization called KICLEI, which we'll talk about in a minute. And to us, those were three things that were worth pointing out. And I did appeal to that council that it's time that they stand up and be counted, and not stand up and be counted, that they need to start doing something about this, that this official plan was a death sentence to their municipality, and that they need to step up and take on the role that they were elected to do and protect their communities. So I wish I could share this video with you, but essentially what the council said after the presentation, when it went to go to the vote, is that what I said was true, and that it was time for them to stand and be counted, and that there was a problem with the provincial mapping and the severances. So they ended up voting to delay the official plan and to seek better consultation. Now, the next day, the mayor of Duro-Dummer and the deputy mayor, I believe, they went to the county meeting with all the other mayors and deputy mayors and met at that county meeting to vote on the official plan. And when they went in and said that they needed the delay, that they had voted to delay it for more public consultation, it started a conversation among that table of decision makers. And the majority of them, the mayors in our township, agreed that the official plan wasn't appropriate to move ahead at this time, and they all wanted better public consultation. So it was completely delayed. So what happened there? A lady went in, she spoke for 5 minutes. It echoed out to the county. We went and we echoed back from that rural township level. It went up to the county level, and it empowered those in these elected representative positions to say what needed to be said. If nobody went in and spoke in a way that they could take that and echo it back, nothing would have happened and that plan would have passed. Because they're essentially, if we don't show up, they are in there with the staff, the administrators, who are working with international lobbyist groups that don't have our best interest at heart. So, exciting times, exciting times. So like I said, that first presentation, it went viral, right? Has anyone seen Joel Sussman and Margaret Sussman's presentation to Aurora on the 15-minute cities? Yes. So Joel took the words of that first delegation, and he is a wordsmith. All of us have talents, and we can amplify the truth in beautiful ways. So he took that original delegation, wordsmithed it for his city, went in and did an amazing delegation. And I've always emphasized the importance of packing the room. So when we did ours in Duro Dummer, we filled the room. There was standing room only by the end of it. 65 people, I think, showed up. And when Joel did his, at least 100 people showed up. Standing ovation at the end, right? It makes a huge difference to those councillors. Can you imagine being a councillor here in Canada, getting elected, going to your job to make these decisions, and sitting in an empty room every time? That's what is the situation happening in Canada. Our council chambers are empty. When we show up with this many people, everything changes and we take back that council chamber. We outnumber them, right? And these guys are, for the most part, a lot of them are good people. They like to be popular. They don't want to have conversations in the grocery store about why they voted to keep the international programs, even though we were really clear about what was wrong with them. They would rather do what the people wanted. And there's usually only one or two councillors really pushing these agendas. So we have not by any means lost hope in our, and we have not exhausted our options when it comes to our civic engagement opportunities. So since that time, we've learned a lot. A councillor reached out to me from Thorold in Niagara. Does anyone know what happened in Thorold? Yeah. Thorold, we have Duncan in the house tonight. I'm going to introduce him in a minute. Get ready to stand, my friend. So Councillor Jim Handley from Thorold reached out. He saw what we were doing and said, you know, there's this program that came onto our agenda this year, and it's connected with KICLEI, and I'm pretty sure you're going to want to have a look at this. And I started looking at the program and certainly found that we had some research to do. Now I'm going to jump back just a little bit because I'm pretty sure some people don't. Who doesn't know what KICLEI is? Awesome. Okay, good. Got a good crew here tonight. So KICLEI is the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives. It was founded by the United Nations in 1990, and shortly after, they came over to work with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities over in Vancouver and drafted Agenda 21. Did you know that? Did you know who drafted Agenda 21? The FCM, Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and KICLEI, the United Nations International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives, and a few others. Their committee was called PrepCom. And then, of course, Agenda 21 was signed in 1992 at the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit, and it all sounded good. Who was alive and watching at that time? Did it sound good?
No.
Right? Did the world fall for it?
Yes.
I know I did. I've always been an environmentalist, right? I've always thought that, you know, the UN, at least when I was a child, I thought that the UN was a good organization and was going to help the developing countries, that we would give the UN money, right? Canada's a developed country. We would give the UN money to go and help undeveloped countries. Isn't that what the UN was for? Right?
Maybe.
Is the UN, do we fund the UN so that it can come back to our country and tell us how to do environmental stewardship programs at the local level? I think that's something Canadians can figure out, don't you? Yeah. Who here takes part in tree planting, community garden efforts, cleanup efforts, community building? You know, community pickups and stuff like that, right? Recycling, reuse it centers. We're already doing our part. So now in 1994, taking you through the timeline here, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities sent all our municipalities a 40-page document called the Municipal Primer. It's subtitled Promoting Sustainable Development Through Local Strategic Action. Hear that word, strategic? Like our strategic plans, right? On page 9 of this document is a flow chart showing how Agenda 21 would be implemented through Canadian municipalities. Do you know how they did it? They gave us a blueprint, so we can be thankful that this is at least here. They did it by promoting education, public awareness, training, and the transfer of environmentally sound technology. And here we are today. I think it's time that we start promoting education, public awareness, training, and providing our counselors information so that they can make better decisions. I think that they would actually appreciate that. So the FCM, when we look at their programs, we see that each and every single one of these programs is moving forward the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Now, a little background on the FCM. It used to be quite a prestigious organization. It was the local voice to national government, right? So all the different municipalities would send a representative and they would talk about issues that needed national attention, right? And then it switched. It switched to becoming an international voice to local governments. And this is where the problem lies. Because we don't see any programs here about addressing many of the issues that we have here today with our urban crisis, homelessness, housing, roads. Well, yeah, they have a few of these, but you see they're all under the Green Municipal Fund. They only get it if they align it through the climate lens. So these are the programs from the FCM, who works closely with KICLEI. If I can get my mouse over. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Let me just zoom out. So the Government of Canada funds these programs, so we're paying for it. It's also funded by KICLEI. So they're working together to fund the programs. Their main program that we looked that we discovered when working with Thorold is called the Partners for Climate Protection Program. Now, I think it's on page 4 of the municipal primer. This program is essentially laid out. This, I believe, is the main UN directed program that is bringing the majority of the problems that we have in. You can see there on the map, there's on their website, you can go there and check it out tonight, the Partners for Climate Protection Program. You can check and see if your municipality has signed up. If there's a dot, you can find the year. And we see it started in 1994 and membership has slowly gone up. I believe it's at 528 as of now. There's about 4,000 municipalities in Canada. 528 around that have signed up, but that is capturing 98% of the Canadian population. Okay, so there's a lot of rural municipalities that they haven't captured in there, but it's still getting the majority of our work and our data. So what is the Partners for Climate Protection Program? Well, it's sold to our councils in a 3-page joining resolution. You can find that on their website too. In a council chamber, motions come in front of the council, they look, it gets set first, second, a little discussion, passed, okay? So this 3-page joining resolution has been going in front of our councils for the last 30 years, and it doesn't really look like anything too threatening. It says that the program is free, that it's voluntary, thank God, that they can leave at any time, and that they're going to help the municipality meet their climate change objectives and targets. So the first thing that they do once they sign up is number one, they create an inventory. They essentially gather all of our energy consumption and waste data from the entire community. So how many cars are driving on the roads? How much fuel is sold in our community? How much electricity are we using for public lighting? How many cows are in the fields? What is the methane potential of those cows? What is the contents of their waste when they bring it to the end of their driveway? How much is cans? How much is glass? How much is household? How much is organic? What is the methane potential of that organic? And so on. They're collecting all of our data. Even in Duro-Dummer, most recently, they had a bylaw that was passed last year, and the community just pushed right back. They have not left their council chambers. They go in there by the 60. They pack it with 60 people every week, pretty much. And they kept on them. They put this bylaw forward to have the property owners have to pay to have their septics pumped and inspected every year. Every year. And they said, no way, we're not doing this. Why would they want a bylaw like that? What is the purpose of that? Other than to collect the data on how much waste is coming out of that municipality. And the councillors had no clue that this was part of the program. Once the program is adopted, it starts to influence all the bylaws and policies and expenditures in our town. It takes over our strategic plans and our official plans. And it's happening through coming from KICLEI and the FCM into the staff, and the staff are recommending it to the council. We need to start recommending things to our councils. Yes. And we need to know how to recommend things in the way that they are properly recommended. We need to learn the game of that council chamber. And we can outsmart them. Like Donnelly said, we have some of the smartest people in our movement, right? And in my opinion, if I, as a homeschooling mom, who, my greatest achievement is running an amazing community garden in Terrace, BC, and having 2 beautiful sons and homeschooling and all that great stuff. If I can figure this out, there's a lot of people here who have done Toastmasters and who can have read reports and know how to read a technical report, or know how this is affecting them at a personal level and can go and speak. And if you just know how to make the recommendation properly at the end of it and pack the room, that's about what they need right now. We need to step up and be assist our counselors in a role of volunteer staff for a little while, okay? So that appeals to you, because this is essentially what's happening. I'll go back. Partners in Climate Protection Program, they gather all of our data. Then the next step, and with each milestone, you know what they get? They get a sticker. They get a little letter of achievement to say that, good job, you've done the next milestone. Here's a letter of achievement. Yay. And then they get them to set a reduction target. And they're setting these reduction targets to 50% by 2030, 100% by 2050. Does that sound reasonable? Are we not allowed to produce any waste? Are we not allowed to use any fuel? Where are we going with this? This is Canada, right? What do we use fuel for here? We heat our homes. We drive to work. We cook our food. We go to our cottage if we're lucky. We might fly out of the country once every year or every 5 years if we're so lucky and able to do that, right? That's part of the Canadian lifestyle. This is our Canadian identity, right? So, and not only that, but I think we're 80 to 89% uninhabited. So with 0.5% of the world's population. And what is carbon dioxide? Is it a pollutant? No. It's plant food. It makes up 0.04% of the Earth's atmosphere. Humans are responsible for 3 to 5% of that at most. So this all, their joining resolution, I really think when we are going up against words, that we understand the words that we're up against, and so we can stay on track. Their joining resolution says, these are the reasons for joining this program, okay? That it is well established that climate change is posing a serious threat to our jobs, our health, and our economy, and our environment. And that Canada has signed up for the Paris Accord, which states that by limiting our greenhouse gases, we can, in theory, reduce the global temperature increase to below 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. So that's their goal. They don't want the temperature to increase by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. Now, I took a bit of geology, and that's what woke me up to the fact that maybe what I was learning in my elementary education about climate change and from Planet Earth, the wonderful documentary we all watched, and documentaries like that, might not be true. So the Geological Archive shows the interglacial and glacial periods of the Earth. Did you know we're in an interglacial period, right? Every interglacial period on Earth has always been 1 to 2 degrees warmer than it is today. So we have basic facts on our side. I was in a meeting the other day, and the question was asked, how do we approach this? Do we approach it with the climate hoax or the UN infiltration? And I said, neither. Okay? Very much what Donald Lee was talking about tonight, and what the Stoics talk about as well. Sometimes you win by not fighting them at all, okay? We have basic facts on our side when it comes to climate change. What I just stated right there is about all we need to make our point, okay? And when it comes to the UN infiltration, you know what? I've already stated the argument there as well. Canada's a developed nation. We don't need international programs telling us how to run local environmental stewardship programs. And what are we doing when we go into Thorold and go into our municipalities now with our motion to opt out of these programs? We slip in to their inboxes a proposal for a local environmental stewardship program. Direct your staff to do this instead. It's simple, right? They have a little mandate where, you know, environmental stewardship is on their mandate, but this is, and the other point is this is not an environmental stewardship program. It's a data harvesting program for international third parties connected with the private green energy and technology sector. That's what it is. It's not an environmental stewardship program, and it's leading to expenditures in our municipalities. I looked at Edmonton, I looked at Niagara, I've looked at a couple of them, Pickering, and it looks like they're spending 5 times more on climate change initiatives than they are on addressing the immediate needs of the people.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
When they get to milestone 5, you think that they're done, but they're not. Sorry, milestone 4. At milestone 4, let me go back there. The implementation of the plan. At milestone 4, do you know what they do? They declare a climate emergency. Who has a climate emergency in their municipality right now? I do. Peterborough does. I'm surprised. Check it out. You probably have a climate emergency taking place. And I asked them why they declared a climate emergency. And do you know what they said? To galvanize public opinion.
Yeah.
To justify their expenditures. Because they're about to spend a ton of money. And I watched, if you go on YouTube and you watch Peterborough climate emergency, the climate activist says, you know, this is going to need funding. And whether the councillors like it or not, they're going to have to pull the funding from their other priorities.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. For what? For bike lanes in Canada that only a small demographic of our population can use for a short season? While they leave the rest of the road unpaved, so we're bumping around next to a couple bikes, right? So anyway, and then they get to milestone 5 and they repeat the process of collecting all of our data and monitoring and tracking our progress towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. That's what it says on the website of our local NGO, Sustainable Peterborough, who's administrating the PCP program in Peterborough. All right, so we started doing delegations in Thorold in Niagara. Councillor Jim Handley put forward a motion to reconsider the Partners for Climate Protection program. He was seconded by Councillor DeRose, 2 brave councillors. Duncan, who's in the house tonight, stepped up in the Niagara region. And you can just wave your hand, Duncan. He organized, I don't know, 4 or 5 ladies. You herded the cats, pulled us together, got us into a room for a Zoom meeting. What, maybe 3 or 4, right? It didn't take that much, guys. 3 or 4 people working together, 2 counselors that were friendly. Me out there, kind of just popping in, giving some guidance, doing a couple delegations in there for them. They didn't like my delegation on climate change and the program. The week before the vote to opt out of the program, the environmental committee put forward a motion stating that what I said in my delegation about climate change was false and misleading, and that they should remain in the Partners for Climate Protection program. And you know, when you're doing this, it's so much fun. So much fun. The second I saw that, I wrote a response. And I looked at my presentation and I said, you know what? I'm going to stand on this, you know? Sent it right back saying, this is what I stated, and you know, I'm open to dialogue on this. You know, we can discuss this like reasonable civil adults. And I gave them, I don't know, 50 references to back up what I said, right? I could have, and I said, if you'd like any more, let me know, right? And I had them add that to the agenda because their letter stating what I had said was false and misleading was on the agenda. So I made sure that mine was on there with an attachment. So anyone can look at that and see it too. And the second I fired that off, you know, it's like throwing a bomb right back at them, right? It's like they threw a grenade at me, I picked it up, threw it right back, and just, you know? So our words, okay, Donald talked about the physical realm and the spiritual realm, but the fictional realm is where all this is happening. So if you want to play the game, you got to get good with the words, right? You got to understand how important our word is and our tone, and that we can, you know, we can overcome by the power of our testimony, right? We can create a new world with the words that we're speaking. And certainly we don't want these programs in our councils. How am I doing for time? We're over anyway. So is everyone good? Do we need to be out of the hall at a certain time? 5 minutes, oh dear, okay. So we don't want these programs in our councils. This is a letter from the city of Aurelia, and people have been doing delegations all across the country. The group in Aurelia went in and wanted to speak to these issues before we learned enough about the Partners for Climate Protection program. They got back this delegation denied letter. And do you know what it says? It says that their delegation is denied because the council of the city of Aurelia considers its decision-making under the broad umbrella of the United Nations directives. Oh. What? Why? Because Prime Minister Trudeau is aiming to achieve Agenda 2030. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? That letter went viral, and sometimes I wonder if the staff on the other side aren't there to help us. And I will say, in Thorold, the staff, by the time we had worked that council, we sent letters, we did public awareness, we went out there with flyers, we gathered signatures, 250 signatures, you know, and we did everything we needed to do just right. And by the end of it, the staff were the ones who recommended that we opt out. And the vote came down to it, and the council voted 7-1 to opt out. The first time in Canadian history. So I hope that this is inspiring everyone to get involved. And let's see where I am there. Okay, so the point here is the UN directive programs, the UN agenda is being implemented locally through voluntary programs. Cool? Okay, it gets passed into our councils with a few words called a motion. We find those motions. The staff at our local municipality will help us find these motions. They're there to work for us too. So we find the motion, we start looking at the agendas, and going in and speaking reasonably to this. And now, if you go and the script for the presentation on the PCP program, the 5-minute script is available on the KICLEI Substack with the video, with the PowerPoint presentation and everything, right? So we're ready to start throwing some word bombs back at the councils, and instead we essentially take that motion to join, and instead of adopt the program, we switch that word with the word reconsider that program. And that's the format that our counselors need to see. These, have you ever heard of words being like spells? Right? They've had a spell cast on them. We need to go in there and speak the words that will uncast the spell. And they're going to wake up like Sleeping Beauty, give them a kiss, right? Be like, oh, I didn't know we could get out of this. Yes, you can. We're here to help you. And they're going to say, thank you. We'll say, no problem. I'm sorry, we've been asleep too, haven't we?
Yes.
Like, what the hell's going on? Right? 0 people are going to their council meetings. Now we know. So I wanted to just share with you a couple resources. So these flyers are available on KICLEI.ca. This is what we've been handing out when we are doing our community engagement. There's also a fantastic book called Citizen Ninja, Stand Up to Power by Mary Baker. It's about a 2-hour read, really easy read with pictures and stuff. And it's all about teaching ordinary people to stand up to power and make a difference in their community. And just really get great tactics to engage your community and your decision makers. And they've had such success with this in the States. We now have entire states like Tennessee passing resolutions to completely opt out of Agenda 21 and have nothing to do with KICLEI or any affiliate organization. So if they can do it there, we can do it here. Our population is small, and we're really good, nice people here. We have the power to go, we can be sweet, we can be charming, right? I know we're angry, but we can take that anger and channel it in a way that will actually get results, and then we can be happy, okay? And we can be happy again. So those are great resources. And just yesterday, so KICLEI.ca was hacked. So I take that as a badge of honor. Hacked about 2 days ago and had everything taken off of it. And you know what? I'm going to take that for the team. I knew when we did Thorold that there would be consequences, okay? But we have to see everything that they do to us as, anyway, we basically, whatever they do to us is going to bounce off of us and go straight back to them. And it's going to help us to find simpler ways to move it forward. So just 2 days ago, I started KICLEI Canada on Facebook as a way, yeah. I tried to do it all professionally, and I was like, okay, and I'm not going to do this on Facebook, but then you know what? I'm going to just do it on Facebook. And within 24 hours, I think we're at 48 hours now, and we're probably at 2,000 members. That picture was taken like a few hours ago. So all across the country, this is going out. And I have essentially two articles on my Substack with the entire game plan and the entire strategy and the words and everything that we need to know. So I wanted to share just 2 more slides. Thank you, Peter. They're really simple slides. So that's the Substack there. You can check it out. This is Justin Trudeau speaking at the FCM conference. He goes there every year. He's obsessed with our municipalities, and we should be too. Their slogan says, local action, national results. Okay? Don't get distracted by what they're doing overseas and here, there, and everywhere. If we focus our attention locally, we can take back our country, and we will take back our country. So keep calm, hold the line. They're coming for our land, and we need to defend our land. This is an ancient battle for our land, all right? And we can save our land with these strategies. And lastly, KICLEI, is a network of members and experts who are working together through peer exchange and partnership, and we need to as well. We are, as Donald Lee said, a new society. We are a network of people who are working together through peer exchange and partnership to create systematic change, right? We can set our own plan and our own vision for our country moving forward and actually achieve it. So I always say, don't wait to get elected to be a leader in your community. Just, if you feel called to it, just step up and start leading and recruit the help that you need. People will come behind you, and we got great people to work with all across the country. So this is our vision moving forward. Our next big push is to take on an entire county. So I'll be working with Simcoe County, and everyone is welcome to follow along with that and reach out as well. But essentially what we're going to do there, because the program's implemented through the Conservation Authority at the county level, we're going to go into Barrie and Aurelia. We're going to go off one delegation, another delegation, let it echo out. Then we're going to go to all the townships with the same delegation. And then we're going to, well, you guys can do this too. You can do this too. Absolutely. I have a little manual on how to help your municipalities opt out of international programs. So you just got to kind of see where you're at. It's one step after another. It's just a game board, guys. It's not that complicated. If you see that what the next step is, you just do it. Once a week, you might work for an hour or half an hour on it with your team, and you just move it forward. Okay? So excited to be here tonight. Thank you all for being here, and I'm gonna give you my direction on your work here.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. You can listen to that song on our acoustic covers playlist on Spotify and Apple Music. Just use the link in the description or click one of the on-screen cards. Thanks again.
Oh, misty eye of the mountain below, keep careful watch of my brother's songs. And should the sky be filled with fire and smoke, keep watching over Jordan's sons. If this is to end in fire, then we should all burn together. Watch the flames climb high into the night, calling out, Father, oh, stand by and we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. And if we should die tonight, then we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time, calling out, Father, oh, prepare as we will watch the flames burn on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire burning the trees, and I see fire hollowing souls. I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll put some resources in the chat, or you can check it out on KICLEI Canada KICLEI.ca, KICLEI.substack.com, and we'll go from there. So see how any comments here. Yeah, we want to thank the Canadian Independent for live streaming this, and John Nesbitt, who is there. I also wanted to thank Peter and Sharron as well from Vaccine Choice Canada for organizing that event, along with Elaine, Scharlach of Action for Canada. So Civis for Reform was also there, the booth, and really great to see the different groups coming together and working together and organizing group events together like that. This is kind of where we're at now. Time of partnerships. The cream has risen to the top, and people are starting to work really well together. So very much appreciate where we're at in all of this. Hello, Benita. Benita, I wanted to make sure that I get an advertisement out for your amazing meetings that are going to take place probably next week or in the next 7 or 8 days, I would imagine. And also recommend people join the Take Back Ontario. I'm a part of that group. Really love the people in that group for the Ontario movement of Take Back Ontario. If you join the Gather 2030 Substack, if you're not on there yet, I recommend joining. That one's completely free. And I'll put out some information about all these different groups that are doing great work and different activists across the country, and just showcase our collective work. So much love, everyone. And a couple of you are still here. I'm going to put on just a 3-minute old video. Which one should I do? Throw this one up. Actually was testing my background here. There we go. Okay. Wish I could see you all too, but we will do a proper Zoom meeting for KICLEI in the near future. I'm still kind of recovering from the website going down and getting information back up on that. And I got the storefront back up. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. So you can grab KICLEI merchandise. Pretty cool. And has our awesome logo on it. So let me just play around with StreamYard. I'm learning some new things here. So, I want my background up. Interesting. There. That's what I wanted it to show. All right, let me test this. Just so you know, that song reminds me of Ottawa, the last day in Ottawa.
Hope. What's my definition of success? Listening to what your heart says. Standing up for what you know is right while everybody else is. Tucking their toe between their legs. What's my definition of success? Creating something no one else can. Being brave enough to dream big. Writing when you're told to just quit. Giving more when you got nothing left. It's a person that'll take a chance on something they were told could never happen. It's a person that can see the bright side through the dark times when there ain't one. It's from someone who ain't never had nothing, ain't afraid to walk away from more profit because they'd rather do something that they really love and take the pay cut. It's a person that would never waver or change who they are just to try and gain some credibility so they can feel accepted by a stranger. It's a person that can take the failures in their life and turn them into motivation. It's believing in yourself when no one else does. It's amazing what a little little bit of faith can't do if you.
Hope. That's an old one, but I thought I would throw it up there, and let's see if this one's still good. I need to redo all of these, so bring them up to date.
Covenant? No, never heard of it.
Conspiring with foreign powers. Conspiring with
They even have a flow chart here on how they will implement Agenda 21 through Canadian municipalities. We are taking this document and going in and addressing our council's strategic plans and other plans that they are drafting. And we are pointing out that it is not a principle of good government to base strategic plans of 30-year-old documents from international organizations with unelected international organizations with plans on how to implement their agenda. And we're pointing out to them that any act preparatory to the takeover of our nation is an act of treason. And we are moving forward and having success with this. So this is something we can do all across the country, and I truly believe that local action is the way, and even these globalists know it. That's why they went straight for our municipalities. So this is where the action is.
Okay, so let me get back here. Huh. Now I can't see. Oh, there I am. All right, cool. Sorry, let me just playing around with the StreamYard. I haven't been doing it very often. So I'll get some new updated little intro videos made to put up for everyone. And yeah, I'm going to have kind of a quiet week and get a whole bunch of computer fun stuff done and have some meetings with a few different people to get them going. The provincial chat groups are in the KICLEI Canada Facebook page now. So we have listed all the municipalities that have partnered with the Partners for Climate Protection program in there. We put in the main game plan and articles to the strategy and to the main script and presentation, so people can start preparing to do these delegations in their municipalities and find people to work with in their local areas. So with about 2,000 people joined up from across the country at this point, Please keep adding people from your local area to that chat group. It will likely become a Telegram or Signal group in the near future. And that way we can truly divide it up by municipality and be off Facebook for the chat group portion of that. But it's a good start. And we'll try and get that going as soon as possible. And yeah, thanks for joining me tonight and watching. Share it out. Yes, Benita, thank you for putting your meeting in there. I recommend everyone click on the link that Benita posted. If you haven't been to her monthly meetings on conservatizing municipal councils and school boards and strategies for influencing policymakers and replacing them, I highly recommend get on her register for her meetings. They're once a month and really great speakers on there. And she's a fantastic organizer in Alberta and in her local community as well. So much love, everyone. And we'll talk to you again soon. I'm just going to do random lives like this when I have time. So short notice, but it's better than not getting it out there at all. So much love. Have a good night. Thank you for watching. Be blessed, Canada.